Hi, my name is Kimberly Law. I'm a professional makeup artist, a certified image expert, and founder and president of Personal Impact International in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. Today I'd like to talk about some of my favorite makeup brushes and what they're used for. So to start off with, makeup brushes come in there's a huge overwhelming variety of different makeup brushes out there. And what you need to know is that it's really important to choose the right brush in the right size, in the right shape, and also in the right material for the area that you wish to apply the makeup product. So to start off with, I'd like to show you three of the largest brushes that you're likely to see in a makeup kit. This largest brush, starting from the very largest brush, this would be your powder brush. As you can see, it is quite a bit larger than the other brushes I'm showing you here today. So the powder brush, the reason it is so large is because it's meant to apply a finishing powder over the skin after you've applied your foundation or possibly your BB cream or whatever you're using on your skin, just to give a nice light finish before you apply your other powder products onto the skin. So because of that, you want something that is quite large and that actually deposits color evenly over the entire face area. This next brush that I'd like to show you is the blush brush, and as I've already pointed out, it is quite a bit smaller than your powder brush, and the reason for that is because you always want to choose a brush that is in the right shape, the right size, and the right stiffness for the area that you plan to, the types of colors that you plan to apply, and also the area that you plan to apply it to. So this particular brush is going to be applying a blush color onto the cheekbone. So because of that, it needs to be in a size that's going to nicely blend the cheek color onto the cheekbone, but you also want it to sort of fan out. You want it to have the right stiffness as well, because you don't want something so fluffy that as soon as you put it onto the skin, it just spreads the color and sprays it everywhere, and you end up with blush up here and up here when it should actually be on the cheekbone. So that's the reason for this brush, and this particular one I find is a really good size for most of my clients. The third brush that I want to show you is a contour brush for the face. And as you can see, it is a very different shape. It is more of an angled size or angled shape brush. It has a similar stiffness to the blush brush, but it is angled. They're both natural bristle brushes, as is the powder brush, but it's a different size and a different shape. And the reason for that is because you want to apply shading powder. If you want to apply shading powder, say under the cheekbone, this angled shape actually makes it much easier to do. This particular size of a brush works really, really well to do that, and it also works really great if you're applying color on under the jawline, or if you want shading color on any other larger part of the face. This particular brush works really well for that. Moving on to the eyeshadow brushes, which are some of my favorite because I use them on a daily basis, and also because you can be really creative with eyeshadow brushes. Now, just to let you know that every manufacturer will make, there are so many different brushes out there, it can be quite daunting actually when you think about how many there are. But these are the three that I think should be in everybody's makeup kit. So these are three of my favorite brushes for applying eyeshadow color. And I'm just going to explain what these brushes are used for. This larger flat brush, as is sometimes called a fluff brush, is used for applying the base color, so the base color of eyeshadow, which is normally a lighter color. Often it's a matte color. Occasionally people will use a frosted, but generally a matte color works best. It also works really good as a blending brush. So once you've applied all your eyeshadow colors on, you can use this to blend all of your colors evenly and smoothly so that you have no strong color change marks on the skin. The second brush that I highly recommend, and this comes highly recommended, is a contour brush for the eye area. So when I say contour brush for the eye area, the particular area that I would use this in is the crease area. And this will deposit color nicely into the crease area in exactly the right spot that you want it in. This brush should be a stiffer brush, And generally I recommend a dome-shaped brush. Back in the day, this brush tended to be more of an angle shape rather than a dome shape. So the dome shape is more of a new, I would say, a new invention over the last 25 years or so. But, and the reason I like this shape the best is because it fits perfectly into that area. And especially those of you who have a smaller eyelid, it will actually help to deposit the color in exactly the right spot. You want this brush to be a little bit stiffer. You don't want something that's too fluffy. Otherwise, again, it's going to deposit way too much color, and it's not going to be precise in exactly where it's deposited, and it's more likely to end up with, some of you have probably had, where you end up with black color all around your eyes. That is less likely to happen with this type of a brush. This third brush that I would like to show you is just a smaller fluff brush. So it's kind of a smaller version of this larger brush, but what this is used is to deposit color in smaller areas. So if you wanted to use maybe another color on the eyelid after you've applied your shading contour color in the crease area, or if you wanted to apply a lighter color just under the eyebrow on the orbital bone, this would be the brush to use for that. Once you've applied all of your colors, at that point you would always want to blend again with the largest fluff brush that you own for that particular area. There's one more brush that I would like to show you, and you see this sometimes in stores. This brush works really well if you would like to blend eyeliner color around your eye area. It also works really well for applying, if you're using a powder product for your eyebrows, it works well for applying that as well. Or also it can work quite well for applying more of an accent color in the outer area of the eye and the crease area as well. So again, because this is a stiffer brush, it does deposit a little bit more color into that area, but that would be the use that I would recommend for this particular brush. So again, just to quickly go through the eyeshadow brushes that I would personally recommend and that I use on a daily basis, we have the largest fluff brush, which is perfect for depositing color over the entire eye area. Great for base colors, great for blending. The second brush that I highly recommend is a dome-shaped crease brush or dome-shaped contour brush, sometimes it goes by different terminology. And again, you want to make sure that the brush is stiff enough that it actually deposits color into the area that you're actually applying the color to. The third brush that I highly recommend is for a smaller fluff brush, and it's great for applying additional color to the eyelid or maybe just under the eyebrow. And then again, you always want to, as you go along, you always want to be blending as you go along. And again, this last brush, which is kind of an extra brush, it's not one that I would say is the most important brush, but it's a great handy brush to have. It's great for applying eyebrow color, it's great for blending eyeliner, and it's also good for adding additional accent colors to the eye area. Another brush that I would recommend is the eyebrow brush and eyelash comb. And the reason I recommend this is because when you're applying any eyebrow color, particularly an eyebrow pencil, you always want to start by brushing the brow towards the nose, applying the color, and then brushing the color out. And this will give it a more natural look. And I also recommend, having the mascara comb, the eyelash comb as well, because you know how sometimes you get those little clumps of mascara on your eyelashes. This is great for just sort of combing it out and making it look more natural. One other brush that I haven't talked about yet is the foundation brush. And the foundation brush is normally a synthetic brush. It comes in different sizes, usually has a dome shape to it. But this is also a new invention. This is something that's probably been around for, I'm going to say maybe the last 20, 25 years. Before that, it really didn't exist. When I took my makeup artistry course way back in 1982, this was not in existence. but it is a really great brush for those of you who wear foundation on a regular basis and want to blend it into the skin nicely. This is a really good brush to use for that. So these are 10 brushes that I highly recommend. I use them on a daily basis, and I really do recommend them to my clients. If you're interested in learning more about brushes, I do sell all of these brushes on my website, but even if you go to any cosmetic counter anywhere in the world, you can find examples of all of these brushes, and they're all ideal brushes to use for makeup application.